Hi everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, I'm going to dig a little bit deeper into this new church symbol and what it could represent beyond just the tomb, because I do think it maybe represents a few different things, interestingly. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you end up liking it, hit the notification bell. Make sure to share this because this is super interesting. I think a lot of other people would find this interesting as well. And then make sure to leave your comments. So here I have a picture of what's typically regarded to be the tomb where where Christ's body was until he was resurrected, and then he came out of this tomb. I don't know that it's necessarily official, but I think just generally speaking, this is kind of the accepted area that they believe that it happened. Okay, so as you can see, the door to this tomb, it's like rectangular in shape, with the exception of this little kind of arch right here. But I don't think that's like, I think that's just like worn down over time. Probably like a chunk came off or something like that. It was supposed to be just like perfectly rectangular. There is kind of like I don't know if this is intentional, but just if you look at it, there is kind of an arch to the outside right here. And I don't know if like at the time of Christ, this would have been like a full arch and it was like made this way on purpose, but whatever the case, um, it doesn't resemble the church symbol too much. But President Nelson did say that that's what it represents. But I wonder if it also represents a few other things. So something that I saw recently led me to believe that maybe the Salt Lake Temple also could have had a hand in this, in the design of the new symbol, right? Because before, I've done two other videos talking about this, and we know that the new church symbol, at least this portion of it up here, the top part, that matches this like perfectly. In fact, let's bring this over here. All right, let me make a copy of it. Duplicate layer. Okay. So I'm just gonna do it again really quick, in case you missed it. So if you put this right in here, okay, actually right here, and then make this a little bit bigger. There, perfect. Okay, so you can see it fills up this line right here of the arch, like the innermost layer or whatever that is. You match it up with that, and then the bottom of it perfectly lines up with what looks like was probably the original floor um, of this like smaller arch right here. You can see that this is like the ground right here, and you have this line that goes all the way across from this one all the way over to this other one right here. And it just so happens that when you put the new church symbol on top of it, um, it matches perfectly. Like the proportions and everything, it looks like it's pretty much exact. So with that in mind, let's take a look at the Salt Lake Temple, because um, now this is from Wikipedia, and this was like an original drawing of the temple, I guess like a blueprint. And you can see that the Salt Lake Temple has quite a few of these kind of dome-shaped shapes, especially the doorways right here. Now now I haven't done it yet, so I don't know what's going to happen. But let me grab this right here, and let's bring it over here to the Salt Lake Temple, and let's see what happens. Okay, now I kept, this white border right here, um, because this is basically the actual design element is the white border. So I'm counting that as the arch. So let me shrink this down. Let's go over here. And not quite, but if you'll notice, it looks like the cornerstone, because this bottom element where they put the church name in this like box below, it's supposed to represent the cornerstone, Christ being the chief cornerstone of the church. So let me undo this. Undo. Okay, so that's back there. Okay, let me bring this over and let's see if that makes a difference and see if that matches up. Okay, bring it down here. And it looks, I don't know, it looks like it does. I'm going to bring it down. Okay, you see this like dark line right here? I think that's the bottom of the door. And then let me go up. And yeah, that it's a perfect match. Look at that. It's a perfect match. These other lines down here, these are the steps, you know. This is that part of the temple where, if you haven't been there, the Salt Lake Temple, okay, you don't go in through these doors right here. Uh, there's like, kind of like a, not a visitor center, but there's like an entrance, like a detached entrance that's like over here. You go in and it's on ground level, but then you go down some stairs, which goes into like a tunnel, and it's like really pretty and stuff. And then that tunnel takes you into the temple. So um, usually what happens is like newlyweds will come over here with their photographer, and they'll pose over here on the steps or inside the doorway and uh, have their wedding have their wedding pictures and stuff. Also, you'll occasionally get the occasional tourist that doesn't know anything about the church, and they're like, "Why can't I get in this cathedral?" So that happens too. Um, but these doors right here, this door and then this door, they're sealed. So if you're going to attend the temple, you go through that other like detached entrance. But yep, there you go. Look at that. It's a perfect match. It's a perfect match. Let me see if I can match it up even better. Give me a second. Yep, it is perfect, perfect, perfect. It is a perfect match. Look at that. Look at that. Sorry, I know it might not be, I don't know how interesting it is to you, but this blows me away. It blows me away. What are the chances that, okay, now I don't know the exact intent. You know, all I know is what President Nelson said is that this arch is supposed to represent the tomb. But how is it that um, the symbol perfectly fits the front two doors of the Salt Lake Temple, and then it also fits over here, uh, the Golden Gate arch, or the Shushan arch? You know, let me just do this again. What are you guys? What are the chances of that? Look how perfect. Look how perfect that is. You know what this says to me? Okay, when I look at it all together, it says to me that the resurrected Christ, now that he's resurrected, is going to come to the New Jerusalem, which is currently Salt Lake City. Now, I do believe that there's going to be a literal New Jerusalem built in Jackson County, Missouri. But I wouldn't be surprised if, when Christ comes to quote unquote New Jerusalem, um, Salt Lake could currently qualify as that location. So it says to me that, you know, the resurrected Christ who came out of this tomb is going to come to his temple in Salt Lake, the headquarters of the church. And then he's also going to go to Jerusalem. And he's going to go through these gates that tradition holds that he will go through at the second coming. And that the Jews believe that their Messiah is going to go through to go to the temple. This is the entrance to the temple. Like, if they were to build the second or the third temple right now, if like they had their way, they would open this up, okay, and then this would lead into the temple grounds, right? This is just the outer wall of the Temple Mount, but you would go through here through this gate, and then after that go in a little ways to the temple itself. So you have these two entrances. They both face east. They both go to these major locations. seemingly and maybe the future site of the third temple where Christ will actually come through this gate, if that's how it plays out. And then here, the Salt Lake Temple. If he, if he comes here, if he considers this the place that he's going to come to, like after Adam-ondi-Ahman, because we know he's going to come to Adam-ondi-Ahman. After that, he's going to come to the New Jerusalem, which I believe could currently be Salt Lake, and then later maybe we would build up the actual. I don't know. And then after that, he's going to go to Jerusalem and save the Jews as Jerusalem is under siege, and he's going to go to the temple there. So yeah, sorry, just look how perfect that is. It's like it's absolutely perfect. It's perfect. The proportions are perfect. And then you can see that, like I said, this domed kind of shape. This is a prominent and repeating feature in the Salt Lake Temple. You have right here the holiness to the Lord plate, or whatever you would call this. It's in that shape, and then you have all these windows that are in that shape, and then you have these two front doors that are in that shape. I also pulled up, here's the side view. So like you have all the circular windows and then the dome shaped windows out here. You go inside. Okay, now this right here, this is the garden room. These don't really match up. You can see that it's like a lot flatter on the top here. It's not like a perfect circle, but this door over here on the right, yeah, there's that shape again. You come over here. This is a rendering of what okay, because like part of the renovation is they're going to add a second baptistry, or a second, a second baptismal font. Probably better said that way. But as you can see, they're going to follow the pattern. It's going to have the doorway right here, right? Same shape. Here is the telestial room, and same thing, same shape, same shape, same shape. And then we go into the celestial room, same thing, same shape. In fact, let me bring this into the celestial room, and we probably won't be able to get it perfect because it's at an angle, but it looks pretty darn close. I wouldn't be surprised, because I don't know. I mean, maybe these doors in here, maybe they're the same dimensions and as those two exterior doors. So I guess that it wouldn't be too surprising if these are like the same, if they're keeping the temple consistent with the doorways. But I wouldn't be surprised if this matches up perfectly. And then in here, here's the Holy of Holies, and let's see what it looks like if we try and match that up. I don't know. That one, now this doorway looks a little bit wider, but maybe if you went from ground level right here, like here's like these two steps. Let me kind of bring it to the ground. Yeah, I don't know. I wish I had like a direct lined up, photograph of these doorways, but I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if it matched up. So there you have it. I just, I don't know what the odds are. When they, built the Salt Lake Temple, I doubt that they had, these dimensions in mind. And like I showed in the previous video, there's all sorts of different arched doorways in arches in antiquity. It's not like there's necessarily a standard. Sometimes it's wider. Sometimes it's like this, because again, this looks like it's a perfect circle, like a perfect half circle. So that would be standard. But as far as like the height to the width, that wouldn't necessarily be standard. And we see a lot of arches that are taller than this one right here. Some of them are shorter. So just the fact that this right here fits so perfectly. And the same thing here. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of mind blowing to me. And the church, what do you call it? I don't know. The typography right here, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This fits so perfectly within this cornerstone. It's just like it's perfect. Um, wait, which I mean, you can like try and force it, but then it's gonna like look forced, kind of. You know what I mean? So it just like worked out. I don't know how to explain that. Um, I'd probably have to do that in another video, like actually type it out, and but I'm not going to do that here. But just suffice to say that the wording here fits perfectly within this rectangle, and that coupled with this, it's perfect. So I mean, I guess you could have put Christ up more, like to where his head is like way up here, if you needed to, if like this was like taller than it is in this case. But whatever the case, like this looks natural. Like this looks like the right, compared to the statue here, this looks like the right height of a doorway to a person that's standing in the doorway, if that makes sense. So, yeah, so there it is again. Um, uh, it's just too much for me to be coincidence. I don't know if this was their exact intentions in making this symbol, but it is quite the coincidence, if nothing else. Again, this is not a domed or an arched doorway. This is not an art. This is a rectangle. The garden, like you can tell here that this was meant to be a rectangle right here, with the exception of this outside feature right here, which could have been arched. It kind of looks like that, but it's hard to tell. I don't know the history of this. So, uh, but even if that's the case, it's so amazing that there is this arch right here, and that this arch in this place representing Christ coming out of the tomb, there's this arch, and then you have the flagship temple of this dispensation, the Salt Lake Temple, with all these arches, and then you have the Golden Gate with these arches, and they all match up perfectly. I mean, well, with this one, it has, the name of the church below it, and then this one doesn't, but still, what are the chances that this part of the symbol would match up so perfectly with this? Oh my gosh. Anyway, I guess that's it. So, hopefully you enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts below about it. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe. Make sure to also share this video. Again, I think it's a really interesting one. And I'll talk to you guys later.